the closest, fastest, most competitive racing in the world. The Indy Racing League opened its season in Miami, where it left off last year. Side-by-side racing at 200 miles per hour, on the edge and over. First it was Roger Penske's cars against the field, then between one another. Ohio's Sam Hornish won the first round. They're on the road to the Indy 500 with just 2 more races to prepare.
With Britain lashed by gales and rain, the forecast for partly cloudy conditions and 99-degree temperatures in Phoenix, Arizona could not be more different. Ahead lie 200 miles of high-speed action from the Phoenix International Raceway. It's the Copper World Indy 200. Hello and a warm welcome to round 2 of the 2004 Indy Racing League season. Sam Hornish got his first win in Miami in round 1, pipping teammate Helio Castroneves into second place. Britain's Dan Wheldon came in a sensational third, and he's on a roll. But first, with 16 races still to run this season, let's see how the points stack up. Hornish then on a maximum 50 with Helio Castroneves, his teammate, still miffed I would imagine after Miami, on just 43. Dan Wheldon, well, it was a sensational drive from him in Miami. 35 points was his reward in front of Toru Takagi, Thomas Scheckter and another Brit, Darren Manning, there in 6th place, Buddy Rice, Tony Kanaan, Scott Sharp and Robbie Buell rounding out the top 10 after round 1. And with us again are 2 of Britain's foremost experts on American oval racing, Paul Cherry and Christopher Tate. We're going to work them really hard here tonight because we've so much to talk about. But first, here are the headlines. Well, he was a sensation in Miami, and now Britain's Dan Wheldon has set the fastest time in qualifying to give him pole position in today's Indy 200. But before we go Indy racing, I can report that in the American Le Mans Sports Car Series, Audi Sport UK team Velox have won the 52nd annual Mobile 1 12 Hours of Sebring. Frank Bieler, Alain Maniche and Pierre Caffer drove a flawless race. They won overall in America's oldest and most prestigious sports car race in front of more than 100,000 fans. Alain Maniche, the 2000 American Le Mans Series champion, returned to sports car racing with a victory after the past 3 seasons in Formula 1. The other Audi UK entry, driven by Johnny Herbert, Jamie Davies and Guy Smith, finished 12 laps down in 3rd place after having to go behind the wall for repairs. And the confirmed result then, after 12 hours of racing at Sebring, Bieler, Caffer and McNeish take the win from Leto, Werner and Pirro, Davis, Herbert and Smith finishing in 3rd place. They are the confirmed results. Plenty to talk about, as I've said here already, and we go straight in at the top. IRL, we've got the greatest British contingent out there that I can ever remember, certainly since the instigation of this series, Paul Cherry. But all eyes at the moment are on the series champion, reigning champion Scott Dixon, because he's been offered a drive in Formula 1.
Yes, Williams, who have taken a number of drivers from America, Juan Pablo being one of them, and Alex Zanardi, who've also come from Chip Ganassi Racing. He has offered Scott a acclimatisation day at Paul Ricard next week, I believe. They're just going to sort of fit him in the car, see how it goes. Then he has, more excitingly, a 3-day test at Barcelona with a number of other teams, so he'll really be able to see where he fits in. And Frank's obviously looking for maybe 1, maybe even 2 replacements. So Scott's, he's young enough. He showed exceptionally well in kart, obviously coming in and dominating as he did the IRL. He's obviously got the ability. Let's see if he can do it in a Formula 1 car.
Frank Williams, indeed, it would be nice to see an IRL guy go through into Formula 1, but Frank Williams has got to have the toughest reputation for hiring and firing. I mean, we can look back over the years and think of many very successful names in motor racing that have come at the end of Frank's big stick when he's fired them out at the end of the year. Mansell being one of them, he's my favourite. But Scott Dixon, it must be a daunting task for him.
Well, yes, Keith, I think it's really good. It's a great compliment for the IRL series, and also indeed for Scott Dixon, who's got a lot of road racing experience, as Paul says. But yes, is Frank Williams tough on his drivers? Yes, he is. Montoya's already said he's off to McLaren, and younger Schumacher appears to be in some contractual difficulty, and nice way to ginger them up this early on in the season, after all it was only Malaysia today, is to produce Scott Dixon, clearly a champion in another series, wind everybody up. Frank's very clear about it. The cars are the most important part of that team, not the drivers.
Be interesting to see what Dan Weldon can do in Formula One as well. Of course, Jenson Button, and congratulations to his first podium today in the Formula One Grand Prix. But let's move closer to home, shall we? IRL and kart. Fernandez and Rahal have moved across from kart into IRL. What's the behind-the-scenes word on that?
Well, that's a really big story of the last 10 days. First, Adrian Fernandez announced that he was definitely going to come and run only in the IRL. You remember he's already got a car in the IRL called Super Aguri Fernandez Racing, but now he's running the car for himself. And then that caused a bit of an upset around Indianapolis and Chicago way, as you can imagine, last week with all the struggles that have been going on between the IRL and the new owners of the Champ Car Series. And then just 3 days ago or so, Bobby Rahal announced from Sebring, where he was being honoured for a great sporting event, announced that he too is going to come and join the IRL. So big changes in the American single-seater scene.
I'll chuck it straight in Paul's lap here, but a bit of shenanigans in here. I mean, we know IRL and kart, they've been at it for years now. What do you sense is going on that you can say on air?
Well, without our lawyers running through it, there's been, let us say, a situation where people have been privy to information that has perhaps made the situation easier for them to negotiate with teams. Basically, they've had money offered to them. I'm sure there will be some fallout somewhere down the line. But at the end of the day, Rahal runs one car, he's now going to run two. Fernandez runs one car, he's going to run two. So they're two-car teams in essence. In Champ Car, Bobby Rahal's driver and sponsor have stayed in Champ Car, so they will not lose a car from that. And Fernandez hadn't decided whether he was actually going to drive or not. So I don't think the numbers are going to make much difference. But as Chris has rightly said, you know, it's big news over there because it's a real tug of love. But by Long Beach, we'll see which one's winning.
Well, we certainly look forward to bringing the news to you as far as that particular story is concerned, because it's going to be going on. Now then, I can tell you the cars are lined up in Phoenix, so let's cross now to the track for today's grid formation.
Dan Weldon, car number 26.
Tony Kanaan, car number 11. Helio Castroneves, car number 3. Sam Hornish Jr., car number 6.
Scott Dixon, car number 1. Darren Manning, car number 10.
Dario Franchitti, car number 20.
Thomas Scheckter, car number 4.
Brian Herda, number 7.
Kosuke Matsuda, car number 55.
Greg Ray, car number 13.
Buddy Rice, car number 15.
Adrian Fernandez, car number 5.
Toyota Gagny, car number 12.
Mark Taylor, car number 2.
Ed Carpenter, car number 52.
Alex Barron, car number 51.
AJ Foyt IV, car number 14.
Scott Sharp, car number 8.
Robbie Buell, car 24.
Hi everybody, Gary Lee alongside Larry Rice. And Larry, just as we saw at the Homestead Miami track with the new banking, Phoenix has undergone a facelift.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've changed turn number 2. They have widened that turn 2 out, and they have taken out the gaps. There used to be a couple of gaps in the wall back there. Here you can see in an old photo that there was 2 gaps back there where the old road course used to be. It's all filled in now. They still have the dogleg. Down in 3 and 4, they've taken that walkover bridge out, and they put a new tunnel in. You can see the new pavement down there where the tunnel has gone in. So it does change this racetrack, especially over in turn number 2. That wall is going to be not as close and not as dangerous as it used to be.
We're going green, 20 cars starting from the pole position. It was an all front row from Andretti Green. The second row was all Team Penske. The third row all Target Chip Ganassi. And the rookie of the year 1 year ago is out in front, his first pole position. It doesn't take long to get around this racetrack. It's only 1.6 kilometers or 1 mile. And they'll go 200 circuits. Now keep in mind, because of aerodynamics, they've actually slowed these cars just a bit, about 4 miles an hour slower this year than last year in qualifying.
Fernandez already heading toward the pit area. Obviously a problem here very early in the going. Remember, he's had almost no time with this team. They've had almost no time with this car. So obviously they've run into some sort of a big problem. They're taking the engine cover off, so that's not good this early in the race.
Well, at the start, it was Weldon that took the lead, but going into turn 3, his teammate Kanaan went on by. He rides out in front, Weldon second, and the Penske boys, Castroneves and Hornish, riding in 3rd and 4th. Dixon now is in 5th. Scheckter is 6th, then Franchitti, Manning, Herta, and Matsura rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and they've all fallen into a kind of a single file right now. And this racetrack is more of a single file than some of the really high bank racetracks that we see. But this is one of the toughest racetracks on the circuit. It's a very odd shape. All of the corners are different. And if you don't have your car set up and handling right, you're going to go straight to the back. And it will change. About 15 or 20 laps into this race, you're going to see some of the handling going away. And you're going to see some of the guys from the back moving forward and the other way around.
Look there at Mark Taylor, who was the Infinity Pro champion last year, back there in 16th position. It has long been said, Larry, that if you can get a car to work here at Phoenix, it will work well at Indianapolis because of the similar banking.
Well, it is similar banking, but these corners are quite different. Turn number 1 and 2 are much sharper than turns number 3 and 4. You can run through 3 and 4 almost flat out, even though it's only got a 9-degree bank down there. But if you can get your car handling in both ends, the cars always tend to want to push the front end down in turns 1 and 2, and then they always want to push, get loose in the other end.
Here's a look from inside the helmet of Scott Sharp. He's back there in 19th position, did not qualify well yesterday. This is a lipstick camera from inside the helmet. There's a look again at Tony Kanaan, who has led the first 11 circuits, or 6 circuits we should say. You see him coming off the corner there through that dog leg.
Yeah, that turn number 2 is much different in looking. I mean, you always used to look for that wide open space back there where the opening was. Now it's no longer there, and the cars do seem to be coming up off of that corner a little better than they did before. Right there, you can see right up in the same spot, and they have put some new pavement out there. You can see a new whole width of pavement out there on the outside of that racetrack.
Well, Kanaan, of course, was a factor in the series championship last year. He was one of 5 drivers with a shot at the title going into the final race of the year. Weldon, his teammate back there, now a battle for 3rd position between Castro Evans and Hornish. And it looks like Adrian's day may be over. They're going to run that car behind the pit wall. So Fernandez has made the decision to drop out of the what used to be the kart series, now the open wheel championship series, to run with the Indy Racing League.
Yeah, whatever the problem is, they're at least going to take it back into the pit area to work on it. Not sure, he's not out of the car yet, so maybe look at this. Hornish on the outside of Castro Neves. That's a tough pass to make, and it looks like he finished it off going down the back straightaway.
Well, we have seen time and time again that Castro Neves, or we should say Hornish, likes that outside move. He likes to run higher on the racetrack than anybody else. However, it was his propensity to run on the high side that caused his teammate to block high the last race, and Hornish went low to win at Miami.
Yeah, he certainly did.
There's Scott Dixon back in 5th position now. He won at Miami a year ago, went on to win the outright title. In fact, over the last 3 years, the driver that won at Miami went on to win the season championship. The first 2 years, it was Sam Hornish. Last year was Scott Dixon. Sam Hornish wins this year. So, is that the omen?
I don't know. But you can hear in his car that he gets out of the car, or the throttle, going down into turn number 1. But he's almost flat out through 3 and 4. Gets out of it a little bit coming off of the corner, actually.
Our report from race control is that Adrian Fernandez lost all the gears in the gearbox on that opening lap. They're going to try to change the gearbox and get him back out there. What he needs most of all right now, despite his experience in an open cockpit car, is experience in this particular car.
Oh, absolutely. He was the first to admit that these cars are much different than the cars that he's been running.
He's had much more difficult to drive.
He's had they're much more difficult to drive. They're a lot different, and he's had very, very few laps. So you're right. If he can just get back out there and run 100 laps, even if he's way down, it'll give him invaluable experience, and it's a chance he can't afford to pass up right now.
Well, there's Weldon riding in the 2nd position, and right now he has his mirrors full of young Sam Hornish. Hornish made that gutsy pass on the high side around Castro Neves, and he closes in. We could see a battle for 2nd here momentarily. We look for the pit window, Larry, to be around lap 70 to 75. It'll be a 2-stop race, but with any yellows, we'll probably see 3 or 4 stops.
We'll probably see 3 or 4 with any yellows. You're exactly right. And they're reaching about the 15 lap mark right now. So you're, as I said a little earlier, about 15-20 laps on a set of tires. You're going to see some of the guys who don't have their cars set up real well. That new rubber wears away, and the cars are going to start to change a little bit. So some of the cars are going to get a little faster, some are going to get a little slower.
Well, they've been racing here since 1964 when A.J. Foyt, who now owns the car his grandson drives, actually won what was called the Governor's Cup 100, driving an old Watson Roadster. So that's aging that race just a bit there. He beat Roger McCluskey late in the contest.
Yeah, it has been around a while. This is a beautiful racetrack, a beautiful setting. And you can see right now that Dixon
is trying to find a way around Castro-Neves. In fact, he may be faster right now than Castro-Neves. It's one thing to catch him. This is a very tight racetrack, and not a lot of good passing zones. So it's one thing to catch somebody, but unless you're like a Sam Hornish who likes to run the high side, it can be difficult to get around.
And that's what you almost have to do. You have to get a gigantic run on somebody off of the corner and get under them going in, or you have to be brave enough to stick to the outside. This racetrack 50 to 70 feet wide, but it doesn't look that wide when you're 2 cars wide going through 3 and 4, believe me.
At that time, you heard Dixon lift just a bit going into 3. Typically in qualifying here, 3 and 4 should be flat out.
Right, and sometimes they will lift slightly going in there. Remember, it's very hot here today, and so when it's very hot like this, it's going to get slicker as the day goes along.
Right along with the Schechter right now heading into turn 1. Schechter back in the 6th position. He has a cart that he works out on between races. Here is the start. Now you see the pole. That's the 26 car of Weldon. He gets the jump at the start, but would not have that lead when they conclude the first lap, because here comes Tony Kanaan going into turn 3.
Tony Kanaan just got a terrific run off of turn number 2. Weldon gave him the outside, and Weldon looked like he pushed the front end a little bit, had to get out of the throttle just momentarily.
Watch this. This is Mark Taylor on that first lap. Oh, hang on. He almost caught the fence on lap number 1.
Let me tell you, that was a terrific job, because he should have been in the wall. He really did a nice job correcting that car and keeping it straight.
Downshift and kept the right RPM range and kept going, but that had to put his stomach in his throat as we complete 21 laps, and Tony Kanaan continues to lead Sam Hornish here in Phoenix.
Of British Superbike and Speedway starts next Sunday and Monday on Sky Sports.
Ford Fiesta. Rock solid.
Okay, class. Triple physics.
5 Alive. Come alive with the Blender 5.
As many as 1 in 3 people have taken drugs. That's why we need Frank.
This is Jordan's country, where they put real strawberries into every pack of Strawberry Country Crisp, combined with delicious light clusters of oats and barley, grown in a way that protects the countryside for both man and beast. In Jordan's country, you won't find E-numbers, additives, or anything artificial at all, so you can enjoy a most luxurious breakfast, knowing that you haven't ruffled anyone's feathers.
Country Crisp. All the best from Jordan's country.
The rock-solid Ford Fiesta from just $6,995.
Kanaan continues to lead this thing. Hornish was the man on the move from his second row starting position. Runs now about 2.8 seconds behind in second. And Weldon is third. Castro-Neves, Dixon, Schechter. And there Scott Sharp is going.
He's going a lap down again.
Lap down. And these are the back part of the field going on around him. So again, Kelly Racing struggling here at Phoenix.
Yeah, he's really struggling big time. For some reason, Scott Sharp is way, way off the pace. And that's what you're going to see here at Phoenix. You're going to see some really, really fast guys, and you're going to see some really, really slow guys for the guys who missed the setup. Because as it goes on and it gets slicker and it gets hotter here in the sun out here in the desert, it's really going to be a handful if you missed the setup. And I think Scott Sharp completely missed it here today.
Well, now Taylor's a lap down, as is Buell. We mentioned Foyt and Sharp a lap off the pace. Right now, Greg Ray in car number 13 is 15th. And we hope to get down to the infield area to get a word from Adrian on exactly what happened.
I was getting ready for the start. I was in 6th gear, and I went down the gear to get ready for the start. And it was like an incomplete shift. And apparently I killed the dogs between 4th and 5th gear.
All right, well, Adrian Fernandez does say, though,
they're working on the car, trying to get him back in there. And as we've documented, without any real testing in this particular type of car, he'll get back out there, get as many laps as he can, because the next race is a month away in Motegi, and then of course it's the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, and without, you got to have the gearbox. Everything's got to be working, especially on a little racetrack like this. You can't just put it in top gear.
Now watch the steering wheel, watch the action, watch him saw this wheel. This is not a real smooth ride around this racetrack.
Well, all the drivers talked about how slick this racetrack was and how it was, you really had to be on top of it. I think the word most of them used was it was never comfortable. Well, if you want to go fast here at this little racetrack, you can't be comfortable. You've got to run the car a little bit loose in some places. It's going to push. Look at this. Up on this end, it wants to push. See how I had the wheel turn way to the left. Now, when we get down on the other side, you're going to see that wheel a lot more neutral because the race car will be a lot looser. Look, he doesn't turn that wheel nearly as far around this time. And look at there, he turns back to the right because the race car is loose down there in 3 and 4.
Comes up behind Scott Sharp again. Now Sharp back in the 19th position. He is the last place car on the track, one car in the infield, and he's about to go 2 laps down.
Yeah, Sam Hornish is gaining on Kanaan very, very slowly, but he's back 2 or 3 seconds behind him right now.
There's a look again at Mark Taylor. That's in the Menard color scheme. That's actually a second car in the Pennzoil Panther stable. They wanted to run 2 cars. John Menard is not running his team, so it's kind of a cooperative effort between those two.
Right.
2 car owning.
Right. And Robbie McGee is his spotter this week, another former driver who's moved into spotting for somebody out there.
I don't think he would like you to call him a former driver.
Well, probably not. He probably, but
for Indy.
He doesn't have a ride right now, but he does. He's not running. Hasn't run so far this year. I'm sure he's still looking for a ride, but he doesn't have anything to run right now. So next best thing is to spot. I guess Davey Hamilton also is spotting for Eddie Carpenter.
Well, here's a super sub here. Alex Barron won a race last year, subbing for the Hollywood team when Giafone was out with an injury. He has a ride this year with Team Cheever for the entire season. And right now, Barron is mired back there in the 11th position as Kanaan continues to set the pace. He's led all 36 circuits, and now he has Sharp 2 laps back.
Yeah,
Hornish, Weldon, Hornish is second, then Weldon, Castro, Evans, and Dixon now is in 5th. Then Schechter, Franchitti, Manning, Herta now in the top 10 for the first time in 9th. And Buddy Rice, who lives out here in the Phoenix area, is in 10th. You're right along with Dixon right now. He's back there in the 5th position. And that is Castro Nevitz directly in front of him.
Yeah, he's working very hard trying to catch and get around. And he's been following him pretty close for quite some time now. Schechter right behind those 2. So all 3 of those cars very close together, but
this battle, Larry, is like 12 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, they're ways back.
Didn't have the run off the second corner to make that move.
And Dixon just hasn't felt comfortable enough to go to the outside. Believe me, your race car has to feel very secure to go to that outside down there in 3 and 4. 9 degrees is pretty flat. You don't see guys running the outside very often, and usually when they do, they don't feel real comfortable out there.
He cannot afford a miscue because he has Schechter right behind him.
And you can see right there, Castro Nevitz running very low down that back straightaway, trying to protect that inside so he doesn't get to the inside of him going into 3 and 4. Now he's got a run on him, though. Let's see if he can get down. Yep.
Castro Nevitz with a slight block there.
Yeah, well, Castro Nevitz, he just didn't have enough room. Oh, look at this, though. Castro Nevitz, something happened. He got loose or something going into the corner because he entered pretty low. Maybe that caused him to have that little bobble, and then Dixon went on around him.
Taking a low line into the corner. There's the number 27.
That's Franchitti.
Franchitti back in 7th position. He's back now on a regular basis after his back injury and surgery. following that injury sustained on a motorcycle in Scotland last summer.
Yeah, it appears that Castroneves is kind of holding up this group. Scheckter in front of Franchitti, and then Castroneves right in front of those two cars.
Now you're on board with Scheckter. Now you're riding along back in 6th position. That's Castroneves up in front. This is the young man that now lives in Indianapolis, but still calls Cape Town, South Africa his home.
Yeah.
His mom, Pam, lives down there.
Look at how poorly Castroneves is getting through turn number 1 and 2 right now. Looks like that race car is just going dead loose on him up there, and he's really, really struggling right there. Again, it looks he's very, very loose down in 3 and 4. When you're loose in 1 and 2, you're usually extremely loose down in 3 and 4, and that appears to be his problem right now.
Well, Dixon, once he got by Castroneves, has put about about 2.5 seconds between his position in 4th place and Castroneves in 5th.
Yeah, and look at Scheckter. Now it looks like he's gotten around Castroneves down in 1 and 2.
And here comes Franchitti trying to get by. So you're looking back at Castroneves, then it's Franchitti, then Manning, and then Herta.
Yeah, and Castroneves has definitely lost the handle. Oh, look at this! Wow, wow, wow.
He stuck his nose down there and went on by.
Franchitti certainly was used all the brave pills right there as he stuck the nose down inside. Castroneves had to move up and let him go, but well, I tell you what, that's a risky move on this racetrack.
But you notice how that car was not handling. Now, as a driver, you go to school on that guy in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
He saw that car was not handling as well, and he picked a spot.
Yeah, look at Herta. Now Herta's moved up. Castroneves is just really, look at this.
See that? He just pulled out of the way.
Yeah, he's just moving out of the way. He's going to wait till the pit stop. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in early because remember earlier we said about 20 laps these guys are going to, some of them are going to really slow up when the tires go away. Well, Castroneves is the best example of that. That race car has just gone dead loose on him.
Well, something about the handling has gone away because he's dropped a number of positions. He's back now in 10th and is being challenged for that position. So something has gone away in the handling on that particular race car.
Yeah, and you can see that the guys behind him all gaining on him quite a bit. So, you know, he's really, really struggling.
Castroneves drops from the top 5 back to 10th position, and here he gets high going through the corner. And look at him motor run by.
Yeah, you can see he's just struggling big time. Had to get clear out of the throttle.
So now back in the 10th position. Your leader is still Tony Kanaan, but right behind is Sam Hornish, then Weldon, Dixon, and Scheckter on lap 47. First pit stop should be coming up around lap 70. However, we've talked about as you go back on board with the number 8 car of Sharp into the first turn. Good look, Larry, off the corner up against that. That's the safer barrier that has been installed here at Phoenix. The dog leg is still there, but not a factor like it was in years past because that wall has been widened. Track's been widened actually by about 12 feet. Now back to Scheckter. Scheckter shifts gears coming off the corner. Heads back into turn 3. I missed that bridge that has been there for so many years. You kind of lose a reference point.
Kind of a benchmark as to where they're at on the racetrack, but you're exactly right.
Going to the corner.
And this corner is much sharper than turns 3 and 4. That's the reason they shift down there. Then they have to shift again because this is really a very long back straightaway, even though it's got that little kink in it.
Look at this, Larry, back up in front. There's the battle for the lead.
Well, Sam Hornish
right behind with traffic in front of your leaders, and look at Sam on the high side.
Well,
a little wider entry into that corner, a little higher entry.
Yeah, we'll see. You can see his car's wiggling a little bit too. I mean, it's not comfortable for anybody out there. This racetrack gets very, very slick. Look at him go to the outside.
They've got Taylor up in front that they're trying to lap. Taylor's already a lap off the pace, trying to put him 2 laps down. And this is the battle for the lead on lap 52. Gary Lee and Larry Rice with live coverage from Phoenix International Raceway, and we're working on lap 53. Your leaders now. Well, we did have a battle for the lead as they were trying to work their way by Mark Taylor, and look at the gap that has opened up between the front 2.
It appeared that Sam Hornish went to the outside down in 3 and 4. He might have gotten up there, got a little marbles on his race on the tires, and he slowed up there for a lap or 2 until he kind of got all those marbles off the tires. Now then, it looks like he's closing in once again, but he went to the outside, looked up there, and just couldn't make it work down there in 3 and 4 earlier.
keep in mind there are 3 bonus points for leading the most laps. There are no bonus points for qualifying. So right now, Kanaan stands to pick up some bonus points because he's led 53. He's led from the start. Well, actually, the jump at the start was his teammate, as Weldon took the lead through turns 1 and 2, but going to turn 3, Kanaan went high on lap number 1 and assumed the top spot, and that's where he's been ever since, working his way through traffic.
It appears that Hornish is just getting into turn number 3 much better than Kanaan is. He's getting off of that corner, though not quite as well, and he's not getting off the 2 as well. Kanaan's getting off both corners much better, and it looks like Hornish actually getting into the corners a little better.
Just a bit coming off that corner there through that dog leg, but they've got heavy traffic out in front of them.
Well, they certainly do, and it's going to be interesting because right now they don't seem to be gaining a lot on those guys. Seems like everybody running just about the same speed, and they've still got another 15, maybe 20 laps to go before they make a pit stop. So Kanaan's going to lose the lead. Oh, look at that wiggle.
Well, he wiggles that same spot virtually every lap.
Yeah, he had that's a pretty big wiggle. Doesn't look so big sitting here.
When you're sitting in the cockpit,
yeah,
you really feel it.
If your rear end's in that thing, believe me, you feel that big time. That thing felt like it jumped out there about 3 feet. Here he goes. Now he's going to make the pass.
Now, heavy traffic. They have to be very careful going through. That is the 52 car. That's Carpenter.
Yeah, that's Carpenter they're going around, so they've trying to get around him right now. Now
I'm going to talk to Kim Green here momentarily of the Andretti Green team. They lead this race and have from the starting green flag.
Yeah, he's partners with Andretti. Here he is. Not hearing the audio. Not sure what he's saying.
Well, the mic was up there and we saw him talking, but we had an audio problem and couldn't hear what Kim was saying.
That's too bad, Ed. I'm sure he had some insight as to what's going on out there, but you can see that Hornish is still dogging Kanaan. Remember, Kanaan won this race last year, so he likes this racetrack. He's very good at this racetrack. And so far, he's done exactly what he has to do, especially in traffic. He was very patient in the traffic. He didn't do anything that was silly, but when the time came, he went right after him.
Well, that's Rice and Carpenter having a good go right there.
Well, you can see pretty heavy traffic back there amongst those guys trying to lap.
Well, it gets by Carpenter.
Yeah, it gets by Carpenter, so that's one car.
One lap car between first and second right now on lap 61. And that lap goes in the record book. Hornish looks to the inside of Carpenter trying to make the move. Couldn't going into turn 1. Carpenter gave him room, but Sam did not have the run on him.
Yeah, Hornish right now being a lot more patient than I've seen him at a lot of racetracks. He's not sticking his nose in there either on the outside or the inside, trying to make things happen that he shouldn't try to make happen.
Move over flag for Carpenter again, and Carpenter again gives him room on the low side.
Well, see, the whole problem is his race car is just not working well enough to take advantage of it.
It's not working well down low.
Right, when he pinches that car, when he has to go in that low, it's just not handling all that well. He can't chase the throttle quick enough to go ahead and complete the pass.
You can't blame Eddie Carpenter.
No.
Eddie's giving him room to go on by.
Absolutely, he's doing his part. He's moved up a car with. Now this time he is. That time Carpenter let out the throttle just a half a second quicker.
Boy, he almost drove that thing to the fence.
Well, it almost cost him. That's what I started to say. When you do that, sometimes you lose your rhythm and you can make a mistake. Luckily, he missed it by about, looked like
he's had a couple of
10 inches.
Close calls there at the last outing at Homestead, Miami.
Yeah, he certainly had.
Coggy in that maroon and white car. Coggy back in the 13th position.
Yeah, and he's trying to get around too. So there's plenty of traffic back there. Everybody trying to take advantage.
That was Buddy Rice as he goes by Buddy. So we're coming up on pit stops on lap 65 now complete.
Yeah,
you say the pit window lap 70 to 74, 75.
I think a lot of these guys are pitting just because their cars are feeling so uncomfortable. They're going to head in, get some new tires, hope that that'll change things. Oh, look at this. Hornish, though, really all over him as he gets into turn number 3. Once again, much better entry. Now here goes Dixon.
Now that's Manning. That's Manning on the inside.
I'm sorry.
Going by Taylor. Manning now lapping Taylor. Manning back in the 7th position. In the Target Ganassi entry, a teammate to Scott Dixon. Trouble is, when they paint these cars alike at speed, it's sometimes tough to see the number.
A 1 and a 10, that makes them about the same too. But anyway, there are only 10 cars left on the lead lap. Castroneves now is the last car on the lead lap. So Castroneves would desperately like to see a yellow flag. And there he is right now, right in front of Tony Kanaan. And of course, Kanaan would like nothing better than to get a lap on him.
And keep in mind that there was concern expressed this weekend about tire wear.
Yes, there was. Oh, look at this. Oh, Kanaan's going into the pit area.
Coming in. Whoa.
Well, obviously, Harnish knew that. He went to the outside. So we're pitting a little quicker than we thought. But Tony Kanaan on lap 67 heading for the pit area.
So Harnish becomes only the 2nd leader this afternoon as Kanaan led the first 67 circuits, peeled off, headed for the pit lane. The attention of the Andretti Green team as Harnish then takes over. Now in the past, in some races, we've seen Penske divide his drivers, bring one in, wait a couple laps, bring the other one in. He may do that today because Harnish is leading and Castroneves is back there in the 9th position.
Yes, he
read it being lapped.
And he split his pit. He almost always pits his cars side by side. Today he split his pit so that they would both have a better entry and exit. This is a very tough racetrack to get in and out of your pits, especially under yellow flag conditions when everybody pits at one time. So very unusual for him, but he did split. He's pitting in the 1st and the 3rd spots, not the 1st and 2nd spots today.
You see him go by Mark Taylor, and there they are, the Penske cars right together. We saw this at Homestead, but that was for the win. Right now, one is trying to stay on the lead lap. And here's the number 26 of Weldon, the pole setter. His first pole in the IRL competition, and he comes to the attention of the Andretti Green team. Andretti Green with 4 entries in this race, including those 2 that we've just mentioned, as well as Herta and Franchitti. Herta was a sub last year that actually won a race, subbing for the injured Franchitti, and for that he was rewarded a full-time ride this year.
Yeah, and you can see they made a slight adjustment. They made a wing adjustment. Now then we're looking at Scott Dixon as he's in the pit area. They only take 30 gallons now, so the fueling doesn't take nearly as long as it did a couple of years ago, but it does still take longer than it takes to change those tires. Those guys can change those tires in probably 7 or 8 seconds. It takes about 10 or 11 to put the fuel in.
Well, our 3rd leader of the afternoon is Schechter.
Dixon, he started to take off, but that means Harnish started to take off before they had the fuel out of there. Harnish got in a little bit of a hurry. It's a good thing he stopped when he did, and he didn't kill the engine. He did a good job to realize he was taking off too quickly. I'm not sure. I wasn't watching the guy on the right front. It's his responsibility to tell Harnish when he can leave. I'm not sure whether they told him too quickly or what, whether he just took off on his own. But whatever, that could have been a disaster for him.
Well, now Manning has assumed the lead, so we'll go through this this pit sequence. Of course, Manning will have to come in as well. There's a look from the inside of the helmet of Scott Sharp, who is laboring back there in the 15th position. Look at the 15 car, Buddy Rice. Rice driving for the injured Kenny Brack, who is here this weekend. Had a chance to visit with Kenny yesterday. This is the first time he's been back to a racetrack since that spectacular grinding crash at Texas last October. And in fact, this is his 38th birthday today.
Is it really? Well, he looks good. I mean, he certainly doesn't look 100%, but he certainly looks good. I mean, he's gone through a terrific, a lot of surgeries, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of dust down to the inside.
Inside there.
Wow.
Well, there's a look at Manning, so he peels off, and that would give the lead back to Kanaan.
Yeah, Carpenter's about the only guy running up near the front now that has not made his pit stop, and he's not going to be able to last much longer, so he's going to have to pit shortly. If that had been a yellow, though, it would have been a great thing for Carpenter because he would have been back on the lead lap.
Speaking of birthdays, my colleague here in the broadcast booth celebrates a birthday next Wednesday. Larry Rice, you're about the same age as Kenny Brack, as I recall, so happy birthday, and we have more action live from Phoenix.
something more thrilling? Sky Vegas Live. It's what the edge of your seat was made for.
Is this a health hazard or a military concern?
Both.
Are these things alive or dead?
We don't know. Dawn of the Dead.
We're for the bored rigid, the frightened, the ignored. We're for the ones who feel a bit. The ones bamboozled by gobbledygook.
The quoted percentage rates.
We're for the ones who, quite frankly, really can't be bothered. We're for clarity, openness, and a straightforward chat. We're here for you. We're Abbey.
English girl, you're so pale and so lovely on holiday with your proud man. But secretly he's bored with you. He wanted filthy and dirty and more rude. And when you sleep, he creep into town to look for the backstreet action. He can't resist the city San Chelsea Mexican pot noodle mess. And as he swallow, he shout, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
New Mexican flavor. It is dirty and you want it.
Under the first yellow of the afternoon, live from Phoenix International Raceway, that is Sam Hornish, who won at Miami Homestead. He was running second here and has made some very slight contact. You can see that that number 6 is kind of slanted to the front there.
Yeah. He's yelling at them to push him, to get him going. He would like very much to get going again, but I think he's going to have to make a pit stop, make some adjustments, because it appears to me that he's made some contact with that rear wing.
That is off the second corner, our first yellow of the afternoon, right after the first round of pit stops. And they're trying to get that car righted so they can push him, and he's going to go down. Well, he's one lap off the pace right now.
Off of turn 2 and off of turn 4 are obviously the two trickiest places on the racetrack, the two places where we see the most accidents, just because the guys are on the throttle trying to get down the straightaways as quickly as they can. Let's see if we can just take another look. So he goes into turn number 1, drops down to the bottom of the racetrack. Back end just got out on him. Yeah, he did hit that wall. He hit it.
Hit the safer wall.
He hit that safer wall, and that's, you know, he's going to have to go, and he'll probably have to replace that rear wing. So he's going to lose some more laps, and takes away any chance he's got of winning this race. But he didn't hit it very hard, but he did hit it enough to do some damage.
And there is Roger, probably looking at the same coverage that we are showing you as to determine what happened.
Roger Penske, of course, probably the most successful IndyCar owner in history. I mean, and he's saying, what the heck happened here? What's Sam doing that? He doesn't do that stuff.
Member of the International Motorsports Hall of Fame, was inducted about 4 or 5 years ago. 13-time car owning winner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and he's, you know, he's always in the hunt. His guys are always in the hunt. I don't know where they got. Yeah, got the car started. They pulled it. He got the car started.
Look back at the cockpit and the face shield and helmet of Scott Sharp. So under the first yellow of the afternoon that came out on lap 82, and he is waiting for his driver to return to the pit area to the attention.
Hornish is already 2 laps down. He's going to try to catch up with the field, and then he'll pull in and go back into the pit area. But I obviously, when they just made a pit stop, the changes they made to the car, or the fact that the new tires weren't matched up quite right, something obviously was not right, because he was falling back. He was actually losing ground to Tony Kanaan before he ended up hitting the fence. But
we would expect him to come to the attention of Matt Johnson.
Yeah. Here he comes right now. He's going to be coming in as Matsura leaves the pit area. But he's going to come in. I just imagine they're going to take that wing off, put a new wing on it, because it had to have been it. The chances of that wing falling off, being cracked, would be too great, because if the wing actually fell off of the race car, because the downforce in these things is tremendous. You're talking about 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of downforce.
Well, as an example, the winglet on the side of the car, on the rear wing, came off back in 1996 on Buddy Lazier's. had a grinding crash here in a test session at Phoenix and broke his back. He was in great pain when he came back that May and won the Indy 500. There's the engine cowling coming off as they go to work on that rear wing.
Yeah, they may be looking to see if it did any damage, knocked any lines loose in there, but it appeared that the wing was the only thing that actually touched the wall.
Very uncharacteristic that the yellow would be caused by Sam Hornish, so he now is 2 laps off the pace and dropping off the lead serial as you look back at Scott Sharp. Our first yellow of the afternoon coming on lap 82. We are now completing lap 86 with Kanaan your leader, then Dixon, Schechter, Franchitti, Herta, Weldon, Barron, Manning, and there's another look at the.
Yeah, he's back.
Is he back on the track already?
Back on the racetrack already. Not sure. He may. I
Without
thought
the engine cover.
Yeah, I thought they were going to. Maybe they were checking to see if there was actually a problem with the engine. They wanted to find that out before they went ahead and changed the wing. The guys were under there. It looked like they'd already loosened that wing a little bit. And you can see that
it's a skew, and
yeah, so he's going to have to go back in and come to the attention of those guys. But I think they went back out because they thought, well, if something is wrong with the engine, there's no sense of us going ahead and changing this, putting it back on the racetrack. So he ran a couple laps just to make sure that everything in the engine compartment was okay.
The pit area is not totally straight because it actually bends back on the inside. It kind of, see how it turns
right there.
in?
See, that's down in turn 1. That's what makes this place very difficult. You can't really see your pit when you're in that race car until you're just a couple of pits away because of that curvature in the pit area.
You see the new wing there being lifted over the inside pit wall, so they're going to change the wing on car 6. Our live coverage continues from Phoenix. Gary Lee, Larry Rice, second race of a 16-race series with the Indy Racing League, the IndyCar Series. We should go green the next time back the line. The reason for the green was that one car slip and slide by Sam Hornish as the Penske crew going to work on the car. They're replacing that rear wing. But in the meantime, he continues to drop back. He's 2 laps off the pace, soon to go 3 laps off the pace. About to go back to racing on lap 89.
Yeah, he's going to lose a couple more laps because they're going to go green. He's going to lose. He'll probably be between 5 and 8 laps down total when they get everything done. Tough break for him, but there was no sense. They could not take a chance going back out there with that wing on there and running at any speed, because if it should break, then something a lot worse could happen, a lot worse crash than we've already seen.
We should go green this time. There is the green and white car, the number 11 of Kanaan. Right behind him is Dixon. Then it's Schechter and Franchitti. A couple of lap cars in between.
Actually, Castroneves was the second guy in line there. There's a couple of other lap cars in there. Yeah, but Dixon and Schechter are second and third on the racetrack. Oh, look at
contact
this.
Right there. Rice dives to the inside of Barron just to kind of push him out of the way, and Barron sucked it up and didn't give him any room.
Yeah, Barron, actually, I think that was Carpenter, wasn't it? Yeah, Carpenter that he got in the inside of him. Carpenter just said, no, I'm not having any of that. You want to go around, go on, but I'm not moving over anymore. And in the end, Buddy Rice had to let him go.
One of the 3 rookies in today's race. Mark Taylor's a rookie, Ed Carpenter.
You can see Castroneves now seems to be running as fast as Kanaan. He's keeping up with him. There goes Franchitti. So he's up to 4th. He's done a very quiet but very good job of moving up the race in the standings.
Once he recovered from his back surgery, got back in the race car, he was fast right away and tested down at Homestead.
Yeah, he's really, a lot of people questioned whether he would really come back and be that strong, but he's run 2 races now. He's been very strong in both of them, been up near the front and been very competitive. And as you can see right there with that lap traffic, he's not afraid to stick his nose in there and go for it.
Schechter up in the 3rd position. I think probably ended up selling his motorcycle because of Frankitti's motorcycle injury, plus some pressure from his mom. His mom wasn't real happy that Thomas had a motorcycle.
Yeah, there's Herta. He's in 5th spot, and he's a long way. A lot of lap cars between Herta and Franchitti. You can see he's a long way back in that field.
He has his teammate right behind him.
Yeah, so
going by Matsura in the 55 car. That's the car that Yasukawa was in last year. Now, Yasukawa, we'll see him in action the next outing in a month at Twin Wing Otegi. He'll be driving the car.
Herta almost got the front end clipped by Foyt. You can see Herta had to get hard on the brakes. Foyt just barely missed him, and he's going to get past as a result. But Brian Herta tried to get to the inside. That's Dan Weldon, that is a race for position, and he just went around Herta. But Herta tried to stick his nose under Foyt, a lapped car, and Foyt obviously didn't see him and came right across the front, and Herta was all over the brakes just to miss him.
That's Weldon now. Weldon up in the 5th position. Herta is 6th. Barron is 7th. Then Manning. Those 8 are on the lead lap.
Yeah, Weldon
clears Foyt. Foyt is back in the 18th position, 2 laps off the pace.
The mirrors on these cars are very small. I don't think that Foyt knew that Herta was back there, and his spotter obviously.
Spotter was not doing his job.
Spotter wasn't telling him. He didn't do a very good job telling him, because he really came down on him. That's Robbie Buell. He's had an awful weekend this weekend. Another kind of like Scott Sharp, just has not been running well at all, and really having to struggle here.
Herta trying to go by Buell there on the inside as you watch Weldon. They're back in the front. Enjoying a second lead over Dixon is Kanaan. Dixon is second back in the second. Schechter now is 3.2 seconds back in third. Franchitti's over 4 seconds back in fourth. Weldon is 5th. Then Herta, Barron, and Manning rounding out the top 9. Those 9 are on the lead lap. A lap off the pace is Castro Nevitz, Takagi, Carpenter, Rice, Utsura, Sharp, all lap down. 2 laps off the pace, Ray, Taylor, Buell, Foyt. Hornish is now some 5 laps back, and Fernandez 97, 98 laps back.
Yeah, Hornish actually, just to go 5 laps down on a spin like that is quite an accomplishment on that crew's part, if you want to know the truth. I mean, to replace that rear wing, they went out and made a lap under the yellow to make sure the engine was running properly with the engine cover off. So with all the work they had to do, he lost 2 laps while he sat there. So basically, to do all the work in the pit area, they only lost 3 laps, and really only 1 under the green. The rest of them were under the yellow.
And that yellow happened only a few laps after the first round of pit stops.
Yeah, and I think that's the real key. I think something, whatever they changed besides the tires on that pit stop was not very good, because it made that car obviously very loose, and he was only about 3 laps in when he actually spun that car.
I saw the little graphic there indicating this was the winner here last year, trying to go for back-to-back victories here, what they call the Desert Mile. We're about a 30, 35, 40-minute drive southwest of Phoenix, Arizona. They ran the old Phoenix Fairgrounds as a dirt track for so many years, and this track was built, paved. First race held here in April of 1964, so we're out here to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Indy cars racing at the Phoenix Mile.
We're looking at Darren Manning, who's running back in 8th spot. Those cars are all racing each other right there, right in a row. Darren Manning, Alex Barron, and Brian Herta right in front of him. Those 3 cars racing for position. That's probably the closest race on the racetrack right now. Those 3 guys.
Manning is the rookie for Target Ganassi Racing. Schechter in his 3rd season. Look back from Takagi's number 15. He's back there in the 10th spot, but he's a lap off the pace. Yeah, and he actually started out running pretty good here today. Had a pretty good run early on, but then as the racetrack got hotter and slicker, he's been moving backwards slowly but surely. Once he got back to about 10th, though, he's hung on to about that same spot. That tunnel they put in down in turn 4, it looks very, very good. The cars are not, there's no bump down there. Usually when you put a tunnel in, there's kind of a bump. There's none there this year. So with 105 laps complete, Tony Kanaan continues to lead Dixon, Schechter, Franchitti, and Weldon.
Tony Kanaan in charge then in the Copper World Indy 200, but I want to introduce my gentlemen again, if I can, Paul Cherry and Christopher Tate. Frantically scribbling there, Christopher. I think the thing we've got to talk about here as we come back in the studio is Penske 1 and 2 squabbling over the spoils in Miami, but here Penske seem to be all at sea. Paul, can I come to you first? What can be the problem?
It's somewhere that clearly Sam doesn't like. He didn't perform particularly well here last year, which is strange for him because he's normally awesome everywhere. Certainly the caption there, one of the commentators sort of said, Sam doesn't do this sort of mistake. It did look, from the way they went about it, looking around the engine there, that they may have had an engine problem which sent him into that spin.
Okay, but Castroneves, I mean, we can take a look at Castroneves. He had all sorts of troubles. In this particular shot, he tries to block Scott Dixon here, but then sets himself in all sorts of trouble. He goes flying into the turn, gets him out of the groove, Christopher, and he's in a right old mess.
Yeah, I mean, it was very unusual at the speed at which Scott was coming up to overtake him, and then he suddenly decided to get on with it, and of course was on the marbles. It's very, very much a one-slot track, this, and particularly with the new track layout. And the Penske's have obviously got themselves set up wrong.
How rare is that?
Well, it is very rare, and it's very unusual as well to see Roger obviously looking really quite cross about life. We saw that shot of him there in the pit lane. So, yeah, a day for Penske to forget.
Well, we'll find out if they can recover from that in just a few moments, of course. We're going to take a short break now. We'll be back with the Copper World Indy 200 in just a couple of minutes.
The Poker Million is in town, and everyone's looking for a piece of the action. But who will cut it in the big time? Poker Million, the Masters 2 starts Friday at 10, Sky Sports 1.
Pin numbers are replacing signatures. Chip and pin, safety in numbers.
Well, see, the European Parliament is trying...
I don't do politics. Surely they're not digging it up again.
You don't do politics, remember?
How come we never win anything?
Naughty, naughty. Politics.
£3.50?
Now then.
For crying out loud.
No.
Isn't someone going to do something? Well,
Oi!
Politics affects almost everything. So if you don't do politics, there's not much you do.
What? Last orders is... sorry.
For registration and voting details, call 0800 3280 280.
He's back. After his sharp defeat, former British champion Alex Arthur returns to the ring to put his title hopes back on track.
Oh, that's a huge shot!
Saturday Fight Night, Alex Arthur v Michael Kizer next Saturday, Sky Sports 1.
Live coverage of the second of a 16-race series for the Indy Racing League, the IndyCar Series here at the Phoenix Mile. They call it the Desert Mile out here in Phoenix, Arizona, where Kanaan has led... well, he's led twice today. He led 67 laps early on. We've also had Hornish out in front for about 7 laps. Scheckter led a lap. Manning led 4 laps before we cycled through the pit stops. And Kanaan reassumed the top spot through that first and only yellow when we saw that little half spin and some slight wall contact with Sam Hornish. So now in lap 112, we've had some 40 laps since the pit stop. There's Franchitti, who's currently 4th position after starting in 7th.
Yeah, and he's just about maintaining an 8-second deficit to our leader, Tony Kanaan. He's not gaining a lot on him. Dixon and Scheckter, though, have been gaining, although in the last 2 laps it looked like Kanaan may have picked up the pace a little bit, and he's pulled out a few car lengths on those 2 guys. But I think that's basically because of traffic. He got around the lap car. The other guys are still struggling with the lap car.
We talked about Michael Andretti being a little more relaxed as a car owner as opposed to an owner and driver.
He loves this place, you know. To drive this place well, you have to be very aggressive, and Tony's a very aggressive driver, and it pays him back.
You've got to be very nervous. You don't only have 1 car in the lead. You've got 4 cars on the track. You've got to be impressed with all your drivers today.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. It's been a couple of hairy moments in turn 1 here with some of the guys. But so far, so good.
All right, good luck, Michael. Thank you for your time. Let's send it over to Vince Welch.
Scott Dixon running second with car owner Chip Ganassi. Chip, is Scott comfortable with the car? You guys happy with the way things are going?
Yeah, Vince, he hasn't touched the weight jacker or anything yet. I mean, there's a little bit of a race going on there. You got Castroneves trying to unlap himself. We're trying to catch the leader. we'll see. We're in some traffic here. It should get pretty interesting.
What makes Scott Dixon so special?
He's the Iceman.
There you have it.
The Iceman Cometh, a movie from many, many, many years ago.
And you know, that must be one of the prerequisites, because Sam Hornish is another guy just exactly like that. Never seems to get excited, never seems to get overstressed or worried about anything, really. As Kanaan has got a couple of lap cars between himself and Dixon now, and Dixon really having trouble with Castroneves.
Well, this is a time when I think Hornish has to show his maturity. He's 5 laps off the pace. He can't overdrive that car now trying to get those laps back.
No, he's not going to get those laps back. He knows that. I mean, no matter what he does, he's just not going to get that back.
There's Scheckter back in 3rd position, now 1.9 seconds back of your leader, and only about a half second behind 2nd place. 2nd place is Dixon.
And you can see the lap cars in front of him, and he's going to, you know, again, getting through lap traffic is probably the most important thing about running Phoenix. It's not as easy here as it is a lot of places. You have to take some chances. The real question is, you know, what is too big a chance and what is too little chance here? The guys who really can figure that out, can run on that thin edge and get through the traffic best, are the guys that win at this racetrack.
We only have 9 now, 8 drivers on the lead lap, so these other drivers have to watch the rearview mirrors as much as they're watching out in front and really have the spotters on top of what's going on.
Right, you certainly do. Scott Sharp right now is running much better than he was early in the race. There's some lap traffic behind him. That's Franchitti coming up. Franchitti has really cut this margin. Once they got into the lap traffic, he's cut it from about 7.5 seconds down to about 5.5 seconds. So he's really gained a lot more on the first 3 guys than anybody else. A lot of it because of the lap traffic that they're in.
And keep in mind, so often, Larry, we talk about the fact that a pit stop can win or lose a race. This is a track where, as we saw earlier with Hornish, a slight miscue can cost you 4 or 5 seconds on the racetrack, and that was a pit stop under yellow.
Right, that pit stop under yellow. He when he made that miscue, it was under the green.
That's right, it was under the green.
It was under the green, and it cost him about 4 seconds on the racetrack. So here's a guy that's won this race 3 times, and he's back there struggling a little bit today, although right now running as fast as the leaders are.
Takagi, he presently is back in 10th position, 1 lap off the pace. So he worked that wheel off the 2nd corner.
A lot of people predict that he might win a race before this year is over, although you know, so far he hasn't been up front in this race. He ran pretty well at Miami, and a lot of people think he's a very savvy race car driver.
Well, as the track gets hotter, we've talked a lot about how much this track changes throughout the afternoon. Take a look at Eddie Carpenter there, one of the rookies in the race. He ran 3 races last year. In fact, in his debut, finished 13th. He's hooked up with Eddie Cheever in Red Bull for the full season. Right now, Carpenter back in 11th position. But this track may change as much as, say, any track, including Indianapolis, over the course of the afternoon because of the heat.
Absolutely, and it's supposed to get very hot here around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Phoenix time. And you know, when it gets that hot here, it's very, very tough. It's very slick. The tires are hot. The drivers are hot. Everybody's hot. So it does make it very difficult.
Well, there was a lot of concern expressed when they came here, because when they had the open test, there's no private testing as we've documented before, but in the open test here, the temperature was about 30 degrees less than what it is this afternoon, what it has been here the last few days.
And the only morning practice session they had here was the first day, and the track was nice and cool. And when they practiced that afternoon, the speed slowed down by about 4 miles an hour. So it does make a huge, huge difference, the temperature here in Phoenix.
Well, Dixon has closed in on Kanaan's lead, now less than a second, about 7/10 of a second. Scheckter has closed into 2 seconds, and Franchitti has knocked off about another 8/10 of a second. He's about 5 seconds behind the leader. But again, all this is going to change because we have a pit stop coming up.
Yeah, and we're taking a look at Brian Herter right there right now, that unsponsored car. He's running in 6th spot.
And there's Barron back in 7th.
And not that far behind, so Manning right behind him. So those 3 cars running very close. Manning has been following Barron for quite some time now, just has not figured out a way to get around him. And that's sometimes pretty difficult on this racetrack. The only long straightaway is down the front straightaway. That back straightaway with that kink in it is a fairly short straightaway. And 3 and 4 is a very, very wide, long turn. To run on the outside of somebody down there is very, very difficult with only 9-degree bank.
One of the 4 short tracks will be on. Of course, we'll go to Nazareth. We go to Richmond, that little bull ring, and of course, then we've got the first visit for the Indy Racing League to the famous Milwaukee Mile.
Right. This is probably, of all those racetracks, one of the toughest. I wouldn't say it's tougher. Milwaukee has always been one of my favorite racetracks to run. It always seemed like such a neat racetrack.
Long straightaways and pretty tight
and
corners.
It's very, very flat. You wouldn't think it would put on good racing, but it does. Look at this. Dixon right on the rear bumper right now.
This
rear
is for
wing.
the lead.
Dixon gets
has
a
already
good run.
picked up the 3 bonus points for leading the most laps here, but Dixon takes a look to the inside, stays down low, keeps the nose down, then has to move up just a bit as he enters that corner.
Yeah, you can see he got a great run off that corner. Now, he doesn't get quite as good a run off of turn number 4. That's turn number 4 they just came off of. He did not get a good run there. Looks to me like he's getting through turns 1 and 2 much better than 3 and 4.
And look back there at Schechter. Schechter has closed in now.
Yeah, he's the 4th car. He's the 4th car back there. He's actually the 4th car on your screen, a lap car
yellow
between
car.
him. But, and I think Kanaan, I think when the pressure gets on him, he seems to pick up the pace a little bit. Although that time, looked like Dixon got better run through 3 and 4.
Well, 131 laps now complete. This is a 200 lap event, and they've gone some 63 laps since the last pit stop. So within the next 10 laps, we should be seeing the second final pit stop of the afternoon with Tony Kanaan leading Scott Dixon.
Sky Movies long weekend. This is a recorded message.
No.
Your mission, should you accept it, is to track and examine our team of agents.
Who am I? You're a malfunctioning $30 million weapon.
Don't I smell cabbage?
Take him away! That would be a good idea now, wouldn't it?
A 4-day mission. A chance to join our most explosive program. This message will self-destruct in 6 seconds. Starts next weekend on Sky Movies.
English girl, you're so pale and so lovely on holiday with your proud man. But secretly he's bored with you. He wanted filthy and dirty and more rude. And when you sleep, he creep into town to look for the backstreet action. He can't resist the city San Jose Mexican pot noodle mess. And as he swallow, he shout, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
New Mexican flavor. It is dirty and you want it.
Come on, get a move on. We're late.
All right.
You can't beat a bag of best.
Are you guilty of staying in a dead-end job? Are you bored, unchallenged, overworked, or underpaid? Do you recognize your own potential? With determination, you could break free and enjoy a rewarding career in computing. CompuTeach helps thousands of people to learn skills that will give them the chance of real success. More money, better prospects, better quality of life. You don't need experience. You'll learn mostly at home in your own time for IT qualifications that employers really want. We'll even help you find the right job. So if you want more from life, call CompuTeach now on 0800 657 657 for a free information pack. That's 0800 657 657.
Back here at Phoenix, you saw a glimpse of Eddie Carpenter climbing out of the race car after bringing out the second yellow of the afternoon as the safety crew is there, and Eddie is okay, walks to Dr. Bach's safety vehicle. Let's take a look again. He just got her looped around and clouded that outside safer barrier with the left side of the race car.
Yeah, that was from the inside of Mark Taylor's car, as it appeared that he spun, like you said, just banged it with the left side, did a half spin, banged the outside wall with the left side tires. So he did get up and walk away, which is always good. But that race car is not going to see any more competition here today.
You're going to have trouble rolling that thing back on the transport.
Yeah, it's going to have some work done on it.
Now, of course, we're going to see pit stops as the pits are open and everybody is coming in. Yellow flag pit stop. That will scramble perhaps the running order. This will be a sprint race to the finish.
Going to be important. Whoever gets out first. If Kanaan can beat. Look at this. Very close. Oh. Dixon almost, but those three guys all did a good job. Every pit crew did exactly what they had to do. Unbelievable.
We can see a replay here on exactly what happened to Eddie Carpenter. As you see, the safety crew continues to work down there in the corner as everybody is making their way out onto the backstretch. The car is being picked up to be taken back to the transporter. Only 8 cars on the lead lap. Alex Barron is now 8th. Castroneves a lap down in 9th. Not the type of performance we would think we would see from the Penske organization. One spin and
he ran,
off.
He ran very good all day long, except for that one segment right at the very end of from about 50 through lap 70. He was just awful slow, and that cost him.
As you see the safety crew continuing the cleanup down there in the corner, we would hope to be able to show you another replay of what happened to the Red Bull number 52 of Eddie Carpenter, a graduate of Butler University with a degree in marketing. Now let's look again.
He pinched the car.
Down low. He got down low. He pinched the car and
pinched
it came
the car, trying to get around Scott Sharp.
Not a real hard hit.
No.
Not a real hard hit, but enough to.
Ooh, boy, he almost got banged into right there. That's always a danger here at Phoenix. This racetrack is so small and so hard to get slowed down. It looked like somebody almost clipped him as they went by after the crash. But he clearly tried to pinch the car. He tried to turn the car left right in the middle of the corner, and when he did, the car just spun around on him and
unloaded and came around.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he just tried to pinch it down under Scott Sharp, and when he did, it was all over with. That's why he was mad at himself and throwing things. He knew that he made a mistake.
But once again, the learning curve can be steep at times, and he's done a pretty good job.
Right, he's done a terrific job.
Well, 3 races last year, 2 so far this year.
He was actually second quick in the second practice session here this weekend. So he's done a nice job. It's just that, and he was running 11th, I think, when that happened. So he was keeping up with the guys pretty much up front. But one small mistake can cost you big time here at Phoenix.
Under the yellow, we had the final pit stop, or what could be the final pit stop. Kanaan came in to the attention of the Andretti Green team and came back out in the top position, so he will restart out in front. And there is Michael Andretti looking on with the headsets. Dixon will restart second, then Scheckter, Franchitti, and Weldon. So Kanaan still under yellow. We will have some 60 laps to go once we turn them loose here, Larry.
Yeah, still a lot of racing to go. It was very important for Kanaan to get back out in the lead, though, because he and Dixon were running about the same speed there at the end of that last segment. So, we'll see exactly what happens now. But it appears that Castroneves got out of the pits.
He got his lap back.
Yeah, he got out quick enough.
Pace car, go to the back of this lap.
So he will get back on the lead lap. So that's good news for him.
Lap 139 being completed under the yellow. Of course, from here we take the long flight in a month to the Twin Ring Motegi, the Japanese offering, then on to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the month of May. We'll have that one for you live on May the 30th. The first of 2 races from Texas Motor Speedway. The night race will be on June 12th. Then the Richmond International Raceway hosting a night race on June 26th. And of course, July 4th, our Independence Day in America will be at the Kansas Speedway. The third and final night race will be the Nashville Super Speedway on July the 17th. And the Milwaukee Mile will come calling on July the 25th. That should be a fun weekend.
That should be a really fun weekend.
So we remain under yellow here on lap 140. Looking at the field summary, Kanaan, Dixon, Scheckter, Franchitti, Weldon, Manning, Barron, Herta. Castroneves is now, well,
he's going to be he's on the lead lap. What will happen? He's right behind the pace car right now. When they get ready to restart, they will pull him around. He will go into the back of the field because the car that's in first on the racetrack, there he is right now. He's already round to the back
there. So he's at the tail of the lead lap.
Right.
But he has a lot of lap cars in front of him.
Well, if he's
White and Buell, Masura, Taylor, Ray, Sharp, Rice, and Takagi, but he will restart in 9th position.
And if he's lucky, has things go right, he could pick up several positions. I don't think it's going to be tough to win this race from the back of the field because there's still 18 cars on the racetrack.
Yeah. We talk about drivers and the learning curve and record early in the career. The pace car driver here is Johnny Rutherford. Of course, a 3-time Indy winner, a champion, but still he crashed a lot of cars early in his career.
Crashed a pace car once early in the IRL career, too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Let's watch again. He just simply comes down, pinches the car right there, unloads the rear end, it comes on around. He's on the brakes real hard, and the contact is not all that heavy with the safer barrier, although the car jumps up in the air. And right now, he is talking to himself, and you probably wouldn't want to hear what he's saying.
No, and that safer barrier did do a good job. I mean, it really cushioned a lot of that big crash.
All right, we're going back to racing on lap 142. Actually on 143, 142 now completed, so 58 laps to go. It's going to be perhaps a 2, 3, 4-car shootout.
And we'll see what happens. It looks like Dixon got a great run off of turn number 2. Looked like he went to the outside, decided not to go out there through 3 and 4, and fell back in line.
Well, Dixon, of course, won the championship last year, but made some costly mistakes, like at Indianapolis that took away a shot at the win there late in the race. Our last outing at Homestead, crashed at the end of the pit wall.
Yeah, look at Franchitti right behind Scheckter now, and really.
Weldon's right there as well.
Yeah, hanging right in there.
Only 2 yellows today. First one was for 7 laps. This last one was for 8, so a total of 15 laps under the yellow this afternoon. Most laps led, of course, by Tony Kanaan, who won here last year. He's going for the. He's already picked up the 3 bonus points for leading the most laps, and 50 points for the winner.
Well, Kanaan and Dixon have pulled out to a pretty good lead over Scheckter. Scheckter not able to hang on with those guys, but Franchitti is hanging on to Scheckter, very close to Scheckter. So it's a race for 1st and 2nd, and another race for 3rd and 4th at this point.
Well, the way the yellow flag was, well, with 55 laps to go, we'll still have some traffic before this race is over to contend with.
Takagi in that 12 car, he is a lap down, so he's 5th on the racetrack, but he is a lap down to the rest of the field. Here's the next battle for position, really, is back here.
There's Weldon, Manning, Barron, Herta, and Castroneves. Well, by getting back on the lead lap, Castroneves now only 10 seconds behind the leader. And here is the number 1 car of Dixon. And there's your leader out in front as they go through the banking in turn 1. The luxury suites on the outside of turn 1. There's a look at your 2003 IndyCar Series champion. Hometown is Auckland, New Zealand, but he resides in Indianapolis, and one of the local kart tracks in Indianapolis had their banquet at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway last November, and some of the champions went out to celebrate when it was over and ran into Dixon and started talking karting because he was a karter. Ended up doing some, shall we say, bar hopping with the series champion. I'm not sure who bought the beer. He won enough prize money last year. He should be buying the rounds.
Yeah, he did very well last year. Had a good year for himself. But right now he's struggling, trying to keep up with Tony Kanaan. He's, I'm sure, pulling out all the stops. It'll be interesting to see. They get about 25 laps into this segment. We'll see. Both of these cars have been very consistent. Both of them have been very fast, both at the beginning of the segment and at the end. I don't look for that to change, but if it does, it could give one or the other of these guys a huge advantage going into those last 20 laps or so.
Well, this is what a half-second lead looks like when they cover a football field in about a second. You're about a half-second back. The margin between 1st and 2nd. Scheckter now is 3 seconds behind this battle, so he's lost some ground to Dixon. Then Franchitti, Weldon, Barron, Manning, Herta, and Castroneves. Those 9 drivers on the lead lap. And Takagi's a lap back, as is Rice. Then it's Ray, Tsura, Taylor, Buell, Sharp, Foyt. They're all 2 laps back. Hornish is still laboring 5 laps off the pace. Carpenter is out, and Fernandez finally is being listed as out. There was some hope that the crew could get Fernandez back out there for some laps in that race car, but won't happen this afternoon.
See, Kanaan made one little error on that corner, and look how much it cost him. It cost him about 0.2 of a second. So any slight error can be a big mistake on this racetrack. So we take a look at Scheckter.
Scheckter also gained some ground because of that miscue.
Yeah, he did. And looks like Franchitti now is dropping off just a little bit. So Franchitti, who was right on Schecter's wing before, now has fallen back about a second behind him. So having a little trouble keeping up. Although
Franchitti has some breathing room on his teammate Weldon, about 4 seconds. right now he's not concerned with what's behind him. He's more concerned with that yellow car out in front of him.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, I'm very impressed with Franchitti. I think he's done much better on this after coming back from being off that long than I had thought he might. I thought it might take him a couple of races to get back in the groove, but it hasn't. He's been fast right out of the box, and he's been fast every place he's gone.
I think what people question, he was always fast and competitive. I think they questioned his psyche after the injury.
Right.
Can you get right back in the saddle, get back on the horse that threw you and go out? Despite the fact he got hurt on a motorcycle, he was still injured.
Well, and I think the other thing is they questioned whether he really wanted to do oval racing. I mean, he's always been a road racer. There's several guys who came over to this series who have not, who have actually said that they didn't really like the ovals as well as the road courses, but he's proven so far that he certainly wants to run whatever it takes and do whatever it takes to be fast, and he has been fast so far.
A lot of talk, Larry, about maybe a road course, 2 or 3 road courses in the next couple of years.
Well, I
Ryan
think
Barnhart said that he'd like to have a 20-race series in a couple of years, including maybe 4 road courses.
I think you will see some road courses. They have started making these cars now designed so that they can run a road course with them. So I think it's definitely going to happen here, if not next year, maybe the year after.
The man that qualified for the pole yesterday, Danny Weldon, back there in the 5th position. He had the lead for about 2 turns at the start of the race. And then Gahan pulled alongside going into turn 3, and from the high side pass, took the lead and has led the most laps this afternoon, led the first 67 laps of the race, and then regained the lead after the first round of pit stops in lap 77 and has led since.
And he's another one of those guys who has seemed, just like Castroneves, who seemed like at the beginning of the race they ran good, and then as that first segment went along, he got slower and slower. He lost most of the positions that he's lost on the racetrack at the very end of that first segment. Once they adjusted the car, he's been pretty quick, but just not quick enough to catch up with the leaders.
Well, when you talk about adjusting a car, Larry, keep in mind they're starting a race with 30 gallons of fuel, okay? The fuel burns off, the car gets lighter, but also the tires go away, so it totally changes the handling characteristics. Want to hear from Eddie Carpenter from the pit area. He's okay after bringing out that second yellow here this afternoon, the driver from Indianapolis.
It was Takagi was trying to go under Greg Ray, and Scott Sharp, a lap car, was in the mix. And I tried to just take advantage of it and shoot under Scott. And I just had to turn in a little too hard and just pinch it off and spun out. I mean, just impatience on my part. We had a really good car. I'm proud of the guys. Didn't start off perfect, but on that first pit stop we tuned on, it was getting better and better. And just, it's a shame. I mean, it's my mistake and it's not acceptable.
I saw you come out with a bag of ice. No injuries, though, to report.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good luck in Japan.
Well, you have to commend the young man. He said, hey, it was my fault. He pinched the car just as you had indicated, but he took the blame.
Guys, he even used the same terminology. How about that? He went to my school of how to pinch a race car, I guess.
Yeah. That would be the School of Racing Vernacular.
That's right. And look at Scheckter now. He has
asserted himself?
Yeah, he's asserted himself quite a bit as Franchitti has fallen back behind him. It wasn't maybe because Franchitti slowed up so much as it was that Scheckter has picked up the pace.
Well, and keep in mind, going back to what we were talking about before we had the comments from Eddie Carpenter, the handling characteristics change so much. The variables with burning off the fuel, the car gets lighter, the tires go away, and the track gets hotter and it gets slicker. And so these cars, from lap 1 to lap 20 or lap 30 can totally change.
Well, and that's why we said early on that after about 20 laps, things are going to change a lot. You're either going to get better or you're going to get a lot worse. Castroneves is one of the most obvious victims of the cars that got worse, and it looks like Scheckter might be
better.
A case where it's getting better as he keeps cutting into that lead slowly but surely.
Schecter's only win came at Michigan 2 seasons ago, driving then for Eddie Cheever in the Red Bull entry.
Oh, and look at the closing speed here.
Yeah, that's A.J. Foyt there as he pulls to the outside and lets the leader go on by. So a lap car now between first and second. You look back from Kanan's car, past the green and white car of Foyt, back to Dixon. Beyond Dixon is Scheckter. And we're on lap 166. So 34 laps to go at the completion of this circuit.
See, where you catch those lap cars makes a huge difference. Now, if Scheckter doesn't get by him, he could slow him up, and it might give Scheckter a huge chance to gain on him.
Well, A.J., the youngest driver in the race out of Hockley, Texas, the grandson The legendary A.J. Foyt, only 19 years of age. And quite honestly, Larry, to be blatantly honest about it, there were people saying this kid is not ready for the Indy cars.
Well, a lot of people thought that. Obviously, A.J. Foyt thought he was ready, so he put him in the car. The kid has struggled a little bit. Don't think it's all his fault, though.
For the most part, he's keeping his nose clean and getting laps.
All right, the first couple of races, he had some problems, and I think that's where all the bad rap came from. Since then, he's been doing okay.
Here's a team that struggled here this weekend. Robbie Buell, a part owner of this Purex racing team, the Dreyer Reinbold entry out of Indianapolis. But he struggled a bit here and got a little high right there coming off the corner.
Well,
in fact, he's back there in the 15th position, 2 laps off the pace.
He's the only guy who touched the wall all weekend until the race started. He touched the wall coming off of turn 4 during the first day of practice, and kind of struggled all the time since then. The other guy that kind of struggled, quite honestly, in all practice was Dixon. He lost a gearbox. He didn't get a lot of time on the racetrack. Boy, when it came time to qualify and to race, he's been right on top of the game.
Well, we said these drivers would encounter traffic before this race concluded. We're at lap 170 right now, 30 laps to go. They have made their final pit stop. They have the fuel to go the distance, but obviously the question all weekend has been the tires. How long will the tires last? The tires are starting to go away. The car starts to skate. The track is much slicker now than what it was. It's a lot warmer outside than what it was when this race began. So a lot of variables making these cars harder to handle.
Well, there you can see that Kanaan coming up on some more lap traffic. If he catches that big group of cars up there, it could be a big problem, but he's still got a little ways to go before he catches them.
And you see the laps wind down, 28 laps to go.
Right now, though, Kanaan's got things pretty much going his way. Dixon has cleared the lap traffic. He's right behind Kanaan, but has not been able to close up very much since getting around that traffic. Has maintained about the same distance, about 7 or 8 tenths of a second down. Now let's see if Kanaan. Now see right there, this is going to cost him a little time, because once you get out of the throttle, he got out of the throttle early, because he didn't want to take a chance of sticking his nose down there. When he has to do that, it does cost him some time on the racetrack.
That is Rice. He is going by. Now Rice goes 2 laps off the pace, and number 15 fights the wheel just a bit coming off the corner. You saw that patchwork there where they put that tunnel in over the winter months. Into turn 1 on this very short racetrack, the luxury suites off to the right. That's where that opening in the track was last year, right down here. They widened the track by about 12 feet and closed up those 2 openings. This is right where that overpass was last year, the bridge. And right here is the patching right there where the tunnel was installed. So now just about a second between first and second as he completes lap 174. And here is Schechter to the inside, pushes his way. That's Franchitti. They were having a battle for 3rd position. Franchitti has actually gotten around Schechter. Then Schechter got back around Franchitti. And this battle is going on just about 2.7 seconds behind the leader. So Schechter had a slight bobble and lost that position to Franchitti. Now he's back around in 3rd position.
Yeah, they caught up with Foyt. That's Foyt right in front of him, a lap car. And obviously he had trouble getting around Foyt and gave Franchitti a chance to shoot past him. Now then, this is turning into a heck of a battle back there, but they're both falling behind the 2 leaders with their battling each other.
Yeah, they're falling off another half second a lap because they're trying to get around Foyt. And as we said earlier, this is not a real wide racetrack, a little mile bull ring.
Well, it's a wide racetrack. The groove is not very wide. That's the problem.
And here's the move to the inside, reassuming 3rd position.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Franchitti knew he was there and gave him plenty of room, and it's a good thing.
176 laps now complete, 177 now complete. The final 23 laps of this race. This is the battle for 3rd position as your leader comes up behind Scott Sharp.
The UEFA Champions League.
Chelsea will play against Arsenal.
Forget all that has gone before. Now they meet again for the biggest clash in the history of their rivalry. Awaiting the victors, Beckham's Real Madrid. Or Monaco. Chelsea-Arsenal. Real Madrid-Monaco. Wednesday at 6, only on Sky Sports.
The
race is on. 4-wheel drive, aluminium chassis, cushion suspension. Build your very own radio-controlled racing car with a real fuel-powered engine. Step-by-step build and customize your very own Nitro Racer with this full-color magazine and video guide. Nitro Racer Issue 1 at newsagents now with your free video guide and first set of parts for just $1.99.
Kids, I'm all clear.
More people than ever before are hearing the words all clear. But so long as lives are being lost to cancer, our work must go on. Will you help us by calling 0800 038 1000 and giving £2 a month to Cancer Research UK? Together, we can help even more people hear the words all clear.
Need a release. Try new cherry menthol flavor airwaves and breathe easy.
Well, Larry Rice, a lot can change in 24 laps. That is Scott Sharp, who right now is back in 16th position. It's been a labor all weekend for Scott, the driver out of Indianapolis, who has won 8 times on the Indy Racing League circuit, a former co-champion of the 96 season with Buzz Calkins. And he just let Tony Kanaan go. Tony hangs a shift there.
Yeah.
Very mad on the throttle.
Kanaan, very interesting the way he runs this racetrack. It looks like he gets out of the throttle much sooner than a lot of guys do. But he gets...
Let's listen to the throttle movement.
Listen to it right here. Nope, they took it off. He really, especially into 3, it seems like he lifts a lot sooner than some of the other guys do. But maybe that's the reason he gets off at turn 4 so well, because he can get back in the throttle much quicker.
Why is it, Larry, that certain drivers, I mean, Tony Kanaan is a road racer by trade, basically. Why is it that perhaps he goes better here than, say, a bigger track someplace?
Some guys do have their favorites. I mean, if you like... And if you have a setup that really works well at a racetrack, usually you don't forget what that setup is. These guys keep very meticulous records. Oh,
contact! Something apparently happened. Oh, look at that. This is what happened. Scheckter saw that crash, backed out of the throttle, and got hit from the rear. Under the 3rd yellow of the afternoon, live from Phoenix, you saw Buell up against the fence. Scheckter saw it. He rolled out of the throttle, and Franchitti didn't.
Man, oh man, oh man. That's what happens. That's why this place is so dangerous. Why this place, you have to be on top of the game every second. Things happen so quick that if you're not on top of it, if you're not watching what's going on, it can be disastrous. I'm sure Scheckter is not very happy, but your reaction time, the time that you have to miss something like that is so limited, so small that sometimes you just can't react quick enough.
Well, here's Franchitti trying to explain what happened, and we know what happened. He just didn't, wasn't looking ahead. The closing speed was there. He rammed Scheckter in the rear because Scheckter saw what had happened up in front. The yellow came out. Scheckter rolled out of the throttle, and Franchitti didn't.
Yep, absolutely, 100% right. When you're setting that low in the race car and there's somebody right in front of you, you can't see around them very well. Scheckter saw the accident, the yellow flag. It's an instantaneous thing. You see the accident, you climb out of the throttle. He didn't get on the brakes, he just climbed out of the throttle. But the closing rate is so fast here that once he climbed out of the throttle, Herta didn't have time to react. He didn't see it. He didn't see the crash.
Franchitti, not Herta.
Franchitti just didn't have time to react, and he just plowed into the back of him.
Well, keep in mind, a yellow light comes on the dash, and you would think the spotter would be yelling yellow, yellow, yellow.
Well, yes, but if Scheckter saw that crash starting, which I'm sure he did, he climbed out before either of those things happened. And by the time he got out of the throttle and Herta I heard of Franchitti ran into him. It happened so quick. I mean, it's easy to sit here and say, man, he should have seen that. He should have missed him.
It's a racing crash.
It's a racing incident. Things happen so quick, and the closing rate is so tremendously quick on this little oval that Franchitti just absolutely didn't have a chance to miss him.
Well, I wonder if Thomas Scheckter thinks of it as a racing incident. Dario Franchitti apparently with no place to go. Paul, comments?
It looked to me like the spotter was to blame there. I mean, Dario was just focused on trying to get the place back. Obviously, the incident happened in front of Thomas. As the commentators have just said, it's very hard to see beyond the game when you're that close to somebody. But at the end of the day, you know, the guy on top should have just been shouting at him.
It does actually heighten the responsibility that the spotters have, and it all does happen very quickly on a 1 mile track like this particularly. So in your view, Christopher?
Yeah, it is a really critical job, and the spotter might just have been concentrating on the fact that there was an opportunity to do something on the yellow, you know, and as Paul says, he's got to be quicker than that, but it does highlight how important it is. The smaller the track, the more critical the spotter's role is.
Well, let's take a look back at what's going on here at this particular time. I mean, really,
well,
Thomas
he
Scheckter, indeed,
quite soon. I mean, you can see, and he's lifted right off there, and Dario is either unsighted or not with it, one or the other. But one thing that's really very, very lucky is that no one had started dealing with the other incident before that one happened, because even a driver half out of a car wouldn't have been so funny.
Well, we can see how quickly that this happened now. Now, that was an accident that had happened for quite some time before Scheckter and Franchitti came on the scene. I don't know, I mean, it was borderline to me. It looked like there was just about enough time to sort that out without an acceleration of the incident, Paul. Would you, on reflection of seeing that again?
You look at, if you run the tape later, you will see that Robbie Buell's accident started quite a bit earlier but didn't really stop, and these guys just got involved in it. I mean, Robbie Buell was still moving. If you look there now, Robbie Buell is still moving down the road there. And here we go, we collect him.
Of course, you only have to lift off the throttle. It's not even a case of putting the brakes on. I mean, it happens so quickly on any motor racing situation, as we all know from experience. And maybe Dario was just caught out. But of course, Dario and Thomas Scheckter going out of that is going to elevate Dan Weldon into that third place position at the moment. Dan Weldon is going to be the man that benefits from those two.
Yeah, and another strong run from Dan. I mean, he's done an excellent job in qualifying on pole. This is a tricky place. I mean, look at the people who are falling foul of this. You know, the Penske cars.
Yeah. Doesn't look good to me, this racetrack. I mean, it's a 40-year-old racetrack. They've made some major mods of it at the moment, but nobody looks like they're getting on with it too well.
Well, it's always been a tricky place. It really has always been a tricky place. Place famously when Nigel Mansell had his big accident before his Champ Car winning year. And so it's a tricky circuit.
Tricky in pit lane as well. Now, the crucial part of this race to me, as far as I'm concerned, is when Tony Kanaan nips out in front of Scott Dixon here in the pits. Paul, your comments?
Well, this is where, if the race is going to be won by Tony, this is where he's done it, because he has pulled this off superbly. Look at that. He kept his mettle and he just kept it going forward, and Dixon had to just back off and let him through. Track position is everything, and that's what Tony went for.
Superb stuff. Tony Kanaan has led this race every single lap so far, apart from when he's been in the pits, of course. We'll have more from the Copper World Indy 200 in just a couple of moments. Stay with us.
Pirates of the Caribbean is now showing on Sky Box Office.
Can you sail under the command of a pirate?
And every time you order between these dates using your Sky remote control, you will automatically be entered into our free prize draw to win a holiday for two to the island paradise of Tobago.
Welcome to the Caribbean, lad.
Including a trip to Pirate Bay.
Take what you can. Give nothing back.
Watch and win with Pirates of the Caribbean, now showing on Sky Box Office.
Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Come on, baby,
Lacoste Pour Femme. Fragrance for women.
The race is on. Four-wheel drive. Aluminium chassis, cushion suspension. Build your very own radio-controlled racing car with a real fuel-powered engine. Step-by-step build and customize your very own Nitro Racer with this full-color magazine and video guide. Nitro Racer Issue 1 at newsagents now with your free video guide and first set of parts for just $1.99.
Welcome back. Let's go straight back to Phoenix and second place Scott Dixon's team owner, Chip Ganassi.
Your opportunities now to get by Tony Kanaan. Is the restart the only option you have?
Well, Vince, it's certainly not the only option we have, but it's clearly a good one. You know, we thought we had some better options when we were coming up on the lap traffic, and, you know, with the yellow, obviously that goes away. It's going to be a good sprint to the end, that's for sure.
Probably only going to be a couple of laps left. Do you give direction to Scott Dixon, or do you let him handle it himself?
He doesn't need direction on this start. You know, we're coming around to the green. He needs no encouragement.
That's Chip Ganassi's.
What race driver would want his car owner to tell him how to restart?
Yes, kind of like the chef asking the waiter how to cook, right?
Yeah. We want to hear from Thomas Scheckter before this restart unfolds. As they'll have 8 laps, an 8-lap shootout.
And slow down for the yellow. My spotter called the yellow. Obviously, maybe Dario spotted and called it, or he didn't slow down. I got hit up the back. Unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
Green flag comes out.
Not a real good restart for Dixon.
No, and I think Scheckter absolutely realized exactly what happened. He's right that his spotter was really on the ball. He called the yellow. He got out of the throttle, and it doesn't appear that Frankitti's spotter was quite as much on the ball.
Well, Chip Ganassi talked about several options. I think that restart was the best option because it was not a real good restart for Dixon.
And look at Castroneves. He's trying to get around Herta back there. That's a race for position. It's a race for 6th and 7th back there at the end of this line.
Well, traffic will not play a part in the end of this race with Kanaan, Dixon, Weldon, Barron, and Manning. But there's about 0.8 of a second, and I tell you what, in 6 laps, it's going to be tough to make up 0.8 of a second unless Kanaan makes a bobble.
Yeah, I think Kanaan, he got a terrific restart. Once he got that good a restart, I think it's going to be almost impossible for Dixon to get back around him.
Well, Kanaan has led all but 10 laps here this afternoon, Larry.
Well, he's been very dominant. There's no question. And look at the huge lead they pulled out on everybody else. I mean, they got a 4-second lead on Weldon, and he and Barron back there pretty close together. Manning, Herta, Castroneves, but those two guys have pulled out to a huge lead.
You see right now about a half-second margin between first and second. They complete lap 196, 4 laps to go.
Yeah, and once again, Dixon is gaining on him a little bit at a time, but I think Kanaan pretty well has things in hand. He knows exactly how fast he has to run, and even if Dixon were to catch him, getting around him is going to be a terrific task on this racetrack with no lap traffic.
He has 1 career win. Guess where it came? Right here.
A year ago, that's right.
Right here a year ago, and he looks like he's going to win it here again this afternoon. There's a look at Scott Sharp, but he's well off the pace. In fact, he's 3 laps back. Scott back there in the 13th position. There you look back from the lead car back to 2nd position as the laps wind down to a precious few. We're on lap 198 and a total dominant drive this afternoon by the Andretti Green team and Tony Kanaan. We have 2 laps to go. The white flag will be out the next time by. So again, unless there's a bobble by Tony Kanaan, Dixon's going to settle for 2nd, but at least it's better than where he finished at Homestead
last time.
Up against the fence.
Dixon has not given up. I mean, he's still he gained a little bit that last time as Kanaan took it a little bit easy, but you know, like I said, catching him and passing him with 1 lap to go.
Well, you saw the white flag as you're looking at the back of the car. Oh, look at that wobble right there. That took care of it right there.
Yeah,
see that wobble? He drove it in real deep. And
he did everything he could do.
Kanaan's going to win this thing. 2nd straight year for the victory in the Big Gulp. Number 11 Andretti Green, and here he comes off the corner. Brian Howard has the checkered flag, and the checkered flag goes to Tony Kanaan for the 2nd straight year. Dixon takes 2nd. Weldon comes home 3rd. Barron fourth, Manning fifth. Castro Nevitz got back on the lead lap and then drove back to sixth position.
Yeah,
Herta takes seventh, then Takagi. Only 7 drivers on the lead lap, so Herta finishes seventh in car 7. Then was Takagi, Rice, Ray, Matsura, Taylor, Sharp. There's a look at Michael with a thumbs up. Then it was Sharp, Foyt, Ornish, Schechter, Franchitti, Buell, Carpenter, and Fernandez. And Tony Kanaan is taking his time on his victory lap. Think he'll take a second victory lap?
He may. He's
even everybody.
Well, it's been a year, so he's pretty happy. He's going to do a little burnout there, do a little wiggling and squeal the tires. But yeah, he is going to take another lap.
I think he's going to go around again.
Well, he certainly has. You know, it was a very good start of the year for him last year. He expected to win several races. He didn't get any more victories. He was a little disappointed. So I'm
taken out a couple times in crashes.
Yep. Went to Japan, remember, last year, and he and Dixon got together. So I mean, you know, this could be a
so
good.
So much for a slow victory lap.
Yeah, yeah. So this time he's going to pull in.
Where's he going to go now?
Going to head down.
No donuts. No donuts.
No donuts now. This is not a very wide racetrack to be doing donuts in. Believe me, no grass out there to do them in.
Well, I got to believe some of these drivers will be doing donuts along that front straightaway. So Tony Kanaan knows exactly where victory lane is because he was here 1 year ago, and of course all the officials saying right here, pull her in here, right here.
Oops, he didn't get her cut short enough. Not going to be quite as easy to get in there. These cars do not turn very sharp. I mean, he
certainly not at low speed.
No, not at slow speed. They don't turn very sharp any place. They're not made for that.
At high speed, you just pinch it and end up spinning out.
But you have to. I mean, you slow the steering down a lot in these cars so that you don't jerk the wheel and cause yourself to spin. That's one of the characteristics of them. It's much faster here than it would be at Indianapolis. They change these steering boxes for the size of racetrack that they're running on. You can hear him. He's a happy guy right now.
Squealing inside the helmet, there's Michael. A big hug between the driver and the car owner as we're here in Victory Lane at Phoenix. Second straight year for Tony Kanaan in Victory Lane.
Let the lady through.
He wants to give everybody a hug. His wife comes in with a kiss on the helmet. And he's going to be one happy guy to visit with here this afternoon.
Yeah, he is. You can see the Hans device that he's got on his to help for safety reasons. That's one of the new innovations that most of these guys wear now. So,
well, total dominant race here this afternoon. Took the lead on the first lap, led 67 laps till the first round of pit stops. Was only out of the lead 10 laps or 10 miles all afternoon. They call this the Copper Classic out here. Very unique trophy. Handshakes all around.
Tomorrow at 7:30 on Premiership Plus in association with Bet365. Leeds at home to Man City. Sky Sports subscribers can order this game for just £6. See channel 433 or call 08705 160 160.
Royal Mail delivers 80 million promises a day. If you can't take it personally, we will. Royal Mail. With us, it's personal.
We learned from the experts. New Pringles dippers. Perfectly shaped for new Pringles dips. 'Cause the better the scoop, the bigger the taste. New Pringles dippers and dips.
Electric shivers across my skin. It's like a fever, and you're my only medicine. Could I be dreaming you're
fragrance from Lynx. A title rated alongside the majors should push them to the limit. Sawgrass does. It demands greatness. The Players' Championship in association with GE starts Thursday, 5 p.m. Sky Sports 1.
The Copper World Indy 200 has been run and won in Phoenix. Tony Kanaan is the man, and we can hear from him now at trackside.
Michael Andretti, Tony, was it as easy as it looked today?
Maybe for you guys, but it was a hard work from the whole 7-Eleven team. Honda did a great job, gave us a great power. The guys, great pit stops, and we get out of here with a win, and my teammates leading the championship. So it's almost a perfect weekend. We won at 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm happy for the 7-Eleven team and myself. We had a tough time in the first race, and we're back. So like last year, let's move on. And thanks for all the sponsors, Firestone, Honda, 7-Eleven, and everybody. Thank you.
A repeat winner here at Phoenix, and you told me earlier in the weekend it's going to be a difficult run because of the heat and the slipperiness of the track, but the tougher it is, the more you like it. Were you liking it out there today?
I love it. I think, wins like this make yourself proud for what you do, for what the team does. That was the most difficult condition I ever raced, and like you said, it looked easy, but from inside there it wasn't. But hey, it's here, it's mine. Nobody's going to take it. I'm going to enjoy it with my guys right now.
Tony Kanaan smiling, and team owner Michael Andretti smiling as well. How about it, Phoenix, for your winner today, Tony Kanaan?
The car was pretty good. We generally knew we had a good car after the warm-up this morning, so Team Target was pretty happy. It's so hard to pass here today. You really needed to have traffic and see if you could get the car to check up in front of you. But good job by the team. I thought we might have had a little there for Tony if the green kept going. I think what really screwed us was that yellow.
Talk about the balance of the car. You seem to get comfortable. A lot of people, especially Vince and Jack, have said that you just seem to ride the car whatever necessary. You do it, and today seemed that case. You just didn't have the power at the end.
Yeah, as I said, I think it's that typical deal. Sort of once you get within 2 car lengths, it's sort of like you can't really get any closer. You can sometimes get a run, but it's never enough to nail it. And I'm happy. We started 5th, and good points for today, and it's good pit position, I think, which sort of, I thought we might have had Tony in the pits as well, but it was a good job by the team, and a good day and all, and we'll move on to Moti.
Well done. We'll see you in Japan.
Thanks a lot.
Pretty nasty race car early on, so 3rd place may be better than you expected early in the race.
Yeah, no, it's certainly fantastic for Andretti Green Racing that they won with obviously Tony and the Team 7-Eleven car. My Klein Tools Jim Beam car was a little squirrely towards the end of the first stint, actually the first, second, and the third. But when you can have results like this when you're struggling, it's nice to come away with the points lead, but that bodes well for the future.
If you had any struggles last year in your Rookie of the Year season, it was on the short tracks, but you had a good run here today. Do you feel more comfortable on the smaller tracks now? Definitely.
Anybody that can beat Tony Kanaan to the pole is doing pretty well. So especially around Phoenix, he's an awesome guy around this track, and I'm very happy. There's still a lot I have to learn, I have to say, and I still feel like I'm learning from TK and Dario and Brian, but it's a good start to my IRL career.
You could say that again. A master of understatement is the man from Emberton. Who would have imagined that he would have been able to do what he's done today, considering that a lot of these guys had difficulty with their cars, but Andretti Green Racing 1st and 3rd, a big result, Paul Cherry.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team machine is very well oiled there. When they went out for qualifying, as I understand it, they sent Dan out first, and the idea was to get the information to then boost the other team members' chances. Now, as it happened, we saw Dan got the pole, but Phoenix is a notorious place for that sort of thing. When you're running qualifying, it's single traffic, so you're on your own. There is no traffic, of course, and that makes the difference. And he really got a scorcher of a pole. And the rest of the team just followed from that.
Well, critical, I would say. I mean, from 8th place to 1st place in the championship at this point for Tony Kanaan. I mean, those points could not have come better. And maximising the effort when Penske failed effectively this week.
Well, that's the really interesting thing about this race, I think, is that the Penske team really slightly came undone. And for Andretti Green, don't forget they're running 4 cars. It's a massive logistical engineering effort and a really good job. Be interesting to see now how Kanaan goes forward, not just to Japan but to the Speedway in May. That's the interesting one.
Sticking with Penske, all was not totally lost. I mean, in the end, Elio came through and got himself a 6th place, which keeps him in 2nd place in the championship. But it really was a damage limitation situation, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not their best day. I mean, last year they were on pole position and 3rd off the grid. OK, they didn't win the race, but it really didn't work out well for them this weekend. But having said that, as you say, Elio picked up good points with a 6th place, and even Sam, even after that uncharacteristic mistake, if it was a mistake, wound up 15th and scored 15 points.
Defending champ Scott Dixon, the Iceman as some people like to call him, I mean, finishing where he did in 2nd place, got him up to 7th in the championship from 18th as he was going into this, and he's got the Formula 1 test coming up as well. He must be a happy man.
He's got a big few days now, and it's going to be very interesting because we have got this break in the IRL series now, you can tell, April the 17th, isn't it? He's got some time to come to Europe. Be very interesting. Good for Scott Dixon.
Let's have a look then at the confirmation of the results after the 2nd round today. Tony Kanaan, Scott Dixon and Dan Weldon. That's your trio at the top. Darren Manning in 5th place, keeping the British side there. And 12th place for Mark Taylor, another Brit as well, in 12th place. That's how it looks after today's event. And really a fantastic race as far as Dan Weldon is concerned. Gentlemen, got to say that he's on the pace, isn't he, Dan Weldon? We asked if Dario Franchitti, it could be his year, but now Dan Weldon very quickly.
Well, yes, Franchitti didn't have such a good first 2 races. Well done, Weldon. Terrific start, and he's become All-American in his sponsor talk, hasn't he? Good man.
Indeed. Well, that's it for this week. My thanks to Christopher and Paul, of course. In a month's time, we go long haul with the IRL to Japan for the Indy Japan 300. Round 3 is from Twin Ring Motegi on Sunday, 18th of April at 8 in the morning on Sky Sports 3. And we, of course, hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you now with some of today's action from Phoenix. Good night.
For football. 8 becomes 4 in the UEFA Champions League, so who'll be there? Chelsea or Arsenal? Knockouts all over. It's semi-final time for the FA Cup and the Tennant Scottish Cup. Oh yes! In Division 1, it's all about the top 6, who will make the playoff places. The race is on in the Premiership for the title, for the best positions. Will this month favour the brave? The word is April on Sky Sports.
The more dust you remove from a car's body shell before painting, the better the finish will be. And because few things are as efficient at removing dust particles as female ostrich feathers, that's what BMW use. Intelligent thinking from BMW.
So we're having coffee in the hospital after our shift, and these blokes come over. And one says...
Been on holiday?
Can we get this patient meters, please?
Shine a light in your eyes.
And the other says...
What are you up to this weekend?
10 mil single dose.
So, what do we call you two lovely ladies?
This is Captain Collie.
And she's Lieutenant Reynolds. Interested in the TA medical services? Go to ta.mod.uk for your free TA guide.
The story goes that Sleeping Beauty was awakened by a handsome prince. The truth is, there was this new herbal essences. The incredible fragrance of the herbs and the natural botanicals reawakened her senses. Oh yeah, she's awake now. So they lived herbally ever after?
New herbal essences revitalizing shampoos. Arouse the sleeping beauty of your hair.
nothing refreshes like a Gordon's and Tonic.
On Wednesday, don't miss the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Chelsea v Arsenal on Sky Sports 2, and on Extra, it's Real Madrid v Monaco.
This is Sky Sports 2.